you ever feel pulled in 1,000 directions? Like you're constantly striving, pushing towards some extreme, work harder, rest harder, achieve more. We live in a world that often glorifies the intense, the absolute. But what if this relentless pursuit, this constant imbalance, is actually holding us back from the very success and fulfillment we crave? What if there's a wiser, more sustainable path? We chase perfection, maxing out our efforts in one area, only to find another aspect of our lives completely neglected. We burn brightly, but risk burning out entirely. This cycle of extremes can leave us feeling exhausted, fragmented, and ultimately unsuccessful in the truest sense of the word, living a life that feels whole, meaningful, and genuinely flourishing. Is this the only way? The noise of the modern world tells us that more is always better. More ambition, more productivity, more possessions, even more relaxation if we swing to the other extreme. But this constant demand for intensity often misses a crucial point, a truth understood centuries ago. It misses the profound power hidden not in the extremes, but somewhere else entirely. Imagine stepping back from this relentless push and pull. Imagine discovering a strategy for success that doesn't demand constant sacrifice or lead to inevitable collapse. This isn't a new age trend, but ancient wisdom, articulated powerfully by one of history's greatest thinkers. A strategy centered not on excess, but on equilibrium. We turn our attention to Aristotle, the ancient Greek philosopher whose insights into human nature and ethics resonate even today. He wasn't just contemplating abstract ideas. He was deeply concerned with the practical question of how to live a good life, a flourishing life. And at the heart of his answer lies a concept that might just redefine your understanding of success. Aristotle observed that excellence, or what he called arete, often translated as virtue, rarely resides at the extremes of behavior or feeling. Think about it. Too little fear makes one reckless, while too much makes one cowardly. Neither extreme leads to effective or admirable action. The true path, he argued, lies somewhere in between. He called this middle path the golden mean. Not a compromise, not mediocrity, but the appropriate response, the fitting intensity, the balanced position between two extremes, one of excess and one of deficiency. It's about finding the sweet spot, the place where true strength and effectiveness lie. This is the core of his strategy. Consider courage again. The deficiency is cowardice, fleeing from every challenge. The excess is rashness, charging blindly into danger without thought. The golden mean is courage, facing danger with awareness, judgment, and appropriate action. It's not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it, finding the right amount for the situation. This principle applies across our lives. Think about generosity. The deficiency is stinginess, hoarding resources. The excess is extravagance, giving wastefully without thought or care for one's own needs or the impact. The golden mean is true generosity, giving appropriately, thoughtfully, and effectively, finding that perfect balance. Even ambition, often pushed to extremes today, fits this model. The deficiency is sloth or lack of aspiration. The excess is greedy, ruthless ambition that harms others and isolates oneself. The golden mean is proper ambition, striving for worthy goals with diligence and honor, respecting boundaries and relationships. It's driven, yet grounded. Why is this balanced approach so powerful? Because extremes, by their nature, are unstable. The person driven by excessive anger lashes out destructively. The person consumed by excessive work neglects health and relationships. The person mired in deficiency fails to act, to grow, to contribute. Extremes lead to fragility. Balance, the golden mean, fosters resilience. It allows for flexibility, adaptation, and sustainability. The balanced individual can weather storms without shattering. They can pursue goals without burning out. They can connect deeply with others without losing themselves. Balance is the foundation upon which lasting success is built. But finding this balance isn't about following a rigid formula. Aristotle emphasized that the mean is relative to us. What constitutes courage for a soldier is different from courage for a scholar facing intellectual criticism. What is generous for a wealthy merchant differs from generosity for someone of modest means. Discovering your golden mean requires self-awareness. It demands honest reflection on your own tendencies. Are you prone to excess in certain areas? Do you lean towards deficiency in others? Where in your life do you feel the strain of imbalance in your work, your relationships, your health, your mindset? It also requires what Aristotle called phronses, often translated as practical wisdom or prudence. This isn't just intellectual knowledge. It's the ability to perceive the specific demands of a situation and discern the right course of action, the balanced response, in that unique context. It's wisdom applied in the real world. Practical wisdom is cultivated through experience, observation, and reflection. It's learning from mistakes at times when we fell into excess or deficiency. It's observing others who seem to navigate life with grace and effectiveness. It's consciously choosing to aim for the mean, even when our impulses pull us towards extremes. Think of balance not as a fixed point, but as a dynamic equilibrium. Like steering a ship through changing seas, you constantly make small adjustments to stay on course. Life throws challenges and opportunities at us. Maintaining balance requires ongoing attention, awareness, and intentional course correction. It's an active process. When you approach work with balanced ambition, you are productive and sustainable. You achieve without sacrificing your well-being or relationships. You avoid both burnout, excess, and stagnation, deficiency. This equilibrium allows for long-term growth and contribution, a hallmark of true success. In relationships, balance means finding the mean between cold detachment, deficiency, and smothering possessiveness, excess. It's about appropriate intimacy, clear communication, mutual respect, and healthy boundaries. Balanced relationships are supportive and enriching, contributing significantly to our overall sense of flourishing. Even managing emotions requires finding the mean, not suppressing feelings entirely, deficiency, nor being overwhelmed by them, excess. Aristotle spoke of feeling anger, for instance, at the right times with reference to the right objects, towards the right people, with the right motive and in the right way. That is balance. So, how does this ancient wisdom translate into a modern success strategy? It fundamentally redefines success itself. Instead of seeing success solely as external achievement measured by wealth or status, Aristotle points towards eudaimonia, human flourishing, living well, actualizing our potential. Eudaimonia isn't just feeling happy, it's about functioning excellently as a human being. It involves living a life of virtue, guided by reason and practical wisdom, engaging in meaningful activities and cultivating strong relationships. Balance, the golden mean, is the very pathway to achieving this state. When you consistently aim for the mean in your actions, choices, and feelings, you cultivate virtuous habits. These habits become your character. And a character built on balance, courage, temperance, generosity, justice, is inherently strong, resilient, and capable of navigating life's complexities effectively. This is success. This approach shifts the focus from frantic, short-term gains to sustainable, long-term well-being and effectiveness. It acknowledges that true success encompasses our inner state, our relationships, our physical health, and our ethical conduct, not just our bank account or job title. Balance integrates these elements. Think about the most successful people you admire, not just wealthy or famous, but truly fulfilled and respected. Don't they often embody a certain balance? Drive tempered with empathy, ambition balanced with integrity, confidence balanced with humility. They navigate the mean, perhaps intuitively. The relentless pursuit of extremes often isolates us. Excessive ambition can alienate colleagues and friends. Excessive self-neglect prevents us from contributing fully. Balance, however, fosters connection. It allows for empathy, fairness, and reliability, qualities essential for strong communities and collaborations. How can you start applying this ultimate success strategy today? It begins with observation and gentle course correction. Notice where you tend towards extremes. Is it in your work habits, your spending, your reactions, your self-care? Acknowledge these patterns without judgment. When faced with a choice or a reaction, pause. Ask yourself, what would the deficient response look like here? What would the excessive response look like? And what lies in between? What feels like the appropriate, balanced action or feeling for this specific situation, for me, right now? Aiming for the mean doesn't mean being perfect. It's a practice. Some days you'll lean too far one way, other days the other. The key is the intention, the conscious effort to steer back towards center, to learn from the deviations, and to cultivate that practical wisdom, that phronses. Consider your energy. Are you oscillating between frantic activity and complete collapse? The mean might involve pacing yourself, integrating periods of focused work with restorative rest, finding a sustainable rhythm rather than living in sprints and crashes. It's managing energy, not just time. Think about your consumption of information, food, material goods. Deficiency might be ignorance or deprivation. Excess might be overwhelm, distraction, or gluttony. Balance involves mindful consumption, seeking quality over quantity, engaging deeply rather than superficially, nourishing rather than merely indulging. Applying the golden mean to your goals means setting aspirations that stretch you, avoiding deficiency, but are also realistic and aligned with your values, avoiding excessive, potentially harmful ambition. It's about pursuing excellence without demanding perfection or sacrificing your humanity. This Aristotelian approach offers profound relief from the pressure cooker of modern expectations. It tells us that we don't need to be superhuman or constantly on. Instead, wisdom lies in finding harmony, in integrating the different parts of ourselves and our lives into a coherent, functioning whole. Success, seen through this lens, isn't a destination reached through brute force or extreme sacrifice. It's a way of traveling, a manner of living characterized by wisdom, virtue, and equilibrium. It's about the quality of the journey itself, leading naturally to a state of genuine flourishing or eudaimonia. So the next time you feel the pull towards an extreme, whether it's working late into the night again or retreating completely from a challenge, pause. Remember Aristotle. Remember the golden mean. Ask yourself, where is the balance? Where is the path of excellence, virtue, and truly sustainable success? Embracing balance isn't about diminishing your potential, it's about channeling it effectively. Like a skilled musician tuning their instrument, finding the right tension on each string creates harmony, not weakness. Too tight or too loose, and the music is lost. Balance unlocks the potential for beautiful expression. The excess of information in our age can lead to mental clutter and anxiety. The deficiency leads to ignorance. The golden mean involves mindful curation, seeking knowledge relevant to our growth and well-being, engaging deeply with fewer sources, and allowing space for quiet reflection rather than constant input. Consider communication. Deficiency might be withholding important thoughts or feelings. Excess might be gossip, harsh criticism, or overwhelming others with constant talk. Balanced communication involves speaking truthfully and kindly, listening attentively, and choosing the right time and place for important conversations. Even physical health benefits from the mean. Extreme, obsessive exercise can lead to injury, excess, while complete inactivity leads to weakness, deficiency. The balance lies in regular, appropriate movement that strengthens the body without breaking it, tailored to individual needs and capabilities. Aristotle believed that living according to the mean wasn't just strategically smart for achieving goals, it was intrinsically good. It aligns us with our rational nature and leads to a life that is objectively well lived. Success, therefore, becomes synonymous with living virtuously and finding fulfillment in that process. This requires cultivating habits. Virtue, Aristotle said, comes about by doing virtuous acts. We become brave by acting bravely in fearful situations. We become temperate by resisting excessive indulgence. We find balance by repeatedly choosing the middle path until it becomes second nature. The hustle culture often promotes ignoring discomfort and pushing through limits relentlessly. Aristotle's approach values sensitivity to context. Sometimes pushing hard is needed, the mean relative to the situation, but other times rest, reflection, or a gentler approach is the truly courageous and wise path. Think about decision-making. Deficiency might be chronic indecision or procrastination. Excess might be impulsive, hasty choices without adequate thought. The golden mean involves gathering sufficient information, considering consequences, consulting wisdom, perhaps phronses, and then acting decisively but not recklessly. Adopting balance doesn't mean life becomes dull or passionless. On the contrary, it allows for deeper, more sustained engagement. Instead of fleeting, intense bursts followed by emptiness, you cultivate consistent presence and appreciation. Passion finds its appropriate, powerful expression within the bounds of wisdom. When we are out of balance, we often project our internal state onto the world, leading to conflict or misunderstanding. Finding inner equilibrium through the mean fosters greater clarity in perception and interaction. We see situations and people more accurately, enabling more skillful responses. The beauty of the golden mean is its universality. While the specifics differ for each person and situation, the principle of seeking balance between excess and deficiency applies to virtually every area of human experience. It's a timeless guide for navigating the complexities of life. Don't mistake balance for weakness or lack of conviction. True balance requires immense strength, the strength to resist impulses, to exercise judgment, to stay centered amidst pressures pulling you towards extremes. It is an active, courageous stance, not passive indecision. This balanced approach fosters self-respect. When you act in accordance with the mean, guided by practical wisdom, you live in greater alignment with your own values. This integrity builds inner confidence and reduces the internal conflict that arises from acting against your better judgment. Consider how balance impacts creativity. Deficiency might be fear of expressing ideas. Excess might be undisciplined chaos. The golden mean allows for both structure and freedom, the discipline to hone craft, combined with the courage to explore new territories. This fertile ground is where true innovation often happens. The constant striving for external validation often fuels extreme behaviors. We push ourselves relentlessly hoping to win approval. The golden mean encourages finding validation from within, from living virtuously and exercising practical wisdom. This reduces our dependence on the fickle opinions of others. Applying Aristotle's wisdom requires patience. Cultivating balance is a lifelong journey, not an overnight fix. Be patient with yourself as you learn to recognize the extremes in your own life and practice steering towards the center. Each small adjustment builds momentum. Think about your relationship with time. Deficiency, procrastination, wasting time. Excess, frantic busyness, overscheduling, no room to breathe. Balance, using time effectively for meaningful pursuits while also valuing unstructured time for rest, reflection, and connection. Honoring the rhythm of effort and ease. In leadership, the balanced leader avoids both tyranny, excess, and weakness, deficiency. They exercise authority fairly, inspire rather than command, listen to counsel, and act decisively for the common good. Their strength lies in their wisdom and integrity, earning trust and loyalty. The search for balance encourages us to integrate different facets of our lives: work and play, solitude and community, thought and action, seriousness and humor. Instead of compartmentalizing or choosing one over the other, the mean seeks harmony and appropriate expression for each. Is your pursuit of knowledge balanced? Deficiency, apathy towards learning. Excess, intellectualism detached from life or information hoarding without application. The mean, Curiosity combined with practical application, seeking wisdom that enhances life, not just accumulating facts. Learning for flourishing. When we feel overwhelmed, it's often a sign we've drifted towards excess in some area. Too many commitments, too much intensity, too little rest. Recognizing this allows us to consciously seek the mean, perhaps by simplifying, delegating, or prioritizing restorative practices. Conversely, feelings of stagnation or apathy might signal a drift towards deficiency. Too little challenge, too little engagement, too much passivity. The mean here involves seeking appropriate challenges, reigniting curiosity, and taking small steps towards meaningful action. Aristotle's framework isn't about self-denial in the sense of suppressing desires. It's about rightly ordered desires. Temperance, for example, isn't about rejecting all pleasure, but about enjoying pleasures in the right way, at the right time, to the right degree, avoiding harmful excess. Balance fosters adaptability. When you're not rigidly attached to an extreme position, you can respond more flexibly to changing circumstances. You can pivot when necessary, learn from feedback, and adjust your course without the shattering impact that inflexibility often brings. Resilience through adaptability. This understanding of success is deeply empowering. It suggests that the keys to a flourishing life are not entirely dependent on external fortune, but significantly within our control. Through the cultivation of our character, our judgment, and our consistent choice to seek balance. Practice observing the mean in nature, the balance of ecosystems, the rhythm of seasons, the way organisms adapt to find equilibrium. Nature often reflects this principle of dynamic balance, offering metaphors for our own lives if we pay attention. Applying the golden mean requires honesty with oneself. It's easy to rationalize extreme behavior, convincing ourselves that our excess is necessary passion or our deficiency is prudent caution. True practical wisdom involves cutting through these self-deceptions to see reality clearly. Consider your relationship with risk. Deficiency, being paralyzed by fear, avoiding all potential failure. Excess, reckless gambling, taking foolish chances. The mean, calculated risk-taking, courageously stepping into uncertainty when justified, learning from both successes and failures. The pursuit of balance naturally leads to a more integrated life. When you stop over-investing in one area at the expense of others, different parts of your life begin to nourish each other. Success at work feels hollow without health and connection. Strong relationships support professional endeavors. This isn't about achieving a perfect, static balance instantly. It's about the direction of effort. Are you consciously moving towards equilibrium? Are you learning to recognize and correct imbalances more quickly? The process itself is where the transformation and the success lie. How does balance relate to focus? Deficiency, scattered attention, inability to concentrate. Excess, obsessive fixation, tunnel vision that ignores broader context. Balanced focus, the ability to concentrate deeply when needed, but also to broaden perspective and shift attention appropriately. Seeking feedback can be crucial for finding your mean. We often have blind spots regarding our own excesses or deficiencies. Trusted friends, mentors, or colleagues can offer valuable perspectives, helping us calibrate our self-perception and adjust our behavior more effectively. True success, the eudaimonia Aristotle described, includes a sense of purpose. Balance helps clarify purpose by filtering out the distracting noise of extremes. When centered, we connect more easily with our core values and can direct our energies towards what truly matters. Balance doesn't mean avoiding conflict entirely. Sometimes standing up for justice or truth requires confrontation, the mean response to injustice. Deficiency would be passive complicity. Excess might be needless aggression. Balance means engaging constructively and appropriately when necessary. Consider the balance between tradition and innovation. Deficiency, rigid adherence to the past, resisting all change. Excess, chasing novelty for its own sake, discarding valuable wisdom. The mean involves respecting and learning from tradition while remaining open to necessary adaptation and progress. Living by the mean cultivates inner peace. The constant striving, anxiety, and regret associated with extremes diminish when we consistently aim for appropriateness and virtue. This internal harmony is perhaps the most valuable, yet often overlooked, component of a truly successful life. Take a moment this week to identify one area where you feel out of balance, just one, and consider, what would a small step towards the golden mean look like in that area? Not a drastic overhaul, just a gentle nudge towards equilibrium. What might that feel like? Perhaps it's leaving work 15 minutes earlier, countering excess. Perhaps it's speaking up once in a meeting when you'd normally stay silent, countering deficiency. Perhaps it's choosing water over another glass of wine, temperance. Small, conscious acts aimed at balance accumulate power over time. Success defined by balance is inclusive. It doesn't require a specific personality type or set of external circumstances. Anyone, regardless of their starting point, can begin the practice of seeking the mean, cultivating practical wisdom, and moving towards a more flourishing existence. This isn't about judging others or yourself harshly. It's about adopting a wiser, more effective, and ultimately more fulfilling strategy for navigating life. It replaces the frantic chase of extremes with the steady cultivation of inner and outer harmony. The promise of Aristotle's golden mean is not a life free from difficulty, but a life lived with greater skill, resilience, and integrity. It's the capacity to meet challenges virtuously and to find genuine satisfaction in the process of becoming your best self. By embracing balance, you are not settling for less. You are choosing a different kind of more sustainability, more inner peace, more meaningful connection, more resilience, more genuine flourishing. This is the deeper success that extremes can never offer. So let go of the illusion that success lies only at the far ends of the spectrum. Recognize the profound power that resides in the middle path, the golden mean. See balance not as a compromise, but as the pinnacle of practical wisdom and effective living. It is, as Aristotle suggested, the ultimate success strategy, not because it guarantees external riches, but because it guides us towards the richest life possible, a life of virtue, purpose, and enduring well-being, a life lived in accordance with our best and wisest nature. Cultivate balance, seek the mean, practice practical wisdom. This is the path away from burnout and fragmentation and towards integrated, sustainable success. It is the timeless wisdom of Aristotle, waiting to be applied in your life, starting today. Remember the tightrope walker from the beginning. Balance isn't about avoiding the heights, but navigating them with skill and awareness. It transforms the perilous journey into a demonstration of mastery. This mastery, this balance, is within your reach. Where will you consciously aim for the mean this week? What small adjustment can bring more equilibrium, more eudaimonia into your world? The greatest success strategy isn't about more effort, but wiser effort. Choose balance. Choose flourishing.